everyone, it's Amanda here with Moses and Me Card Company. Today I am bringing you part 2 of my Spellbinders 2019 November card kit called Christmas Wishes. Starting off with card number 6, I just used some more of the pattern paper that we had in the kit. This is that dark blue wood grain pattern paper and some of the beautiful poinsettia pattern paper that had some gold foiling in it that I felt matched the ephemera that I was going to be using. You can see it right there. It's a little gold jar that I think says Christmas Wishes or Christmas Blessings. There goes my little kitty cat friend, my little helper there. And I'm just taking some Love from Lizzie peel-offs and covering up the seams of where those papers meet. And I was watching, I think it was Sabrina from Scrappy Tales. She used the ephemera jar with some of the ephemera flowers, which I thought really turned out pretty. So I hadn't yet used my die for the poinsettias, so I thought I would go ahead and put some of those flowers in the jar and just kind of make a little bouquet. And I started with 2, of course. That looked weird because, apparently the rule of thumb is true. You need odd numbers. So I'll go ahead and die cut another flower here in just a second to add to that. And so that kind of, I thought that was kind of a cute card. I really liked how this one turned out. Those flowers are so pretty. They really do make really pretty cards. They have a lot of dimension, but I think it's something that you could actually send in the mail without having to worry about whether or not it got flattened out on the way there. So I think they're real pretty, and they're a good size. There, I'm adding the 3rd flower to just kind of complete that. And then I'm going to add some more gold gems that I have in my stash. I'm just going to glue those down. And there you have card number 6. And then on the inside, I used the Taylor Expressions. It's called the Inside Scoop Christmas Blessings. Just stamp the sentiment on the inside there. And we'll also use some more of the pattern paper just to kind of finish that off. And I'll attach that on the inside. I thought that turned out really pretty. And for card number 7, I have my mom's birthday is actually in the middle of December, and so I just used this card kit. I thought the poinsettias were really pretty, and since she's got a December birthday, I thought that they would look really nice. So I just used some of the green cardstock that came in the kit, and some more of that poinsettia pattern paper. For some reason, I must have cut it incorrectly because I did not have 5.5 strips to work with. So you can see they're a little bit weird looking there. I do eventually cut those down. I think the panel itself, I think, ends up being 5.25, which is okay. I used Simon Says Stamp Happy Birthday die that I had in my stash to cut that out of the gold cardstock and cut some more of the flowers out of the kind of maroony cardstock that we had in the kit. I thought that went really well with the color palette on this card and in those pattern papers. And I also pulled in the poinsettia die that we had from last month's kit, the kind of smaller flower. And I'm just over there giving it some dimension using my little flower tool to kind of roll it up and just building it to make sure that it has maximum bloomage. I wasn't quite sure where I wanted to put that just yet, but I found a spot on the bottom. And I'm just adhering that directly to my card base. I, of course, do it upside down here, but I caught myself, so I was able to flip that around before the glue set. Kind of putting my leaves on now. Going to adhere the centers of all the flowers using some more gold cardstock. And then I cut out the happy birthday and some fun foam so that my sentiment would have a little bit of dimension on the card. And I'm just directly attaching that to my card base. This is kind of a hard die to attach because it's in like 3 different pieces, which I guess they all can't be attached. But you have to make sure that you don't get them crooked, which is sometimes a challenge for me. But I always just tell myself, it's a handmade card, right? It's supposed to not be perfect. This isn't a Hallmark factory. But anyway, I'm attaching the gold cardstock on top of the fun foam. And I'm going to also attach some more of those gold gems that I have. I felt like I couldn't stop with this card. I usually don't have this problem, but I just kept wanting to add things to it. And I think it's because it's like my mom, you know. Somehow that little child in me always comes out, you know. But I did eventually call it quits. I don't want to over-embellish. And then I'm looking, and I'm not quite happy with how far down the happy is in the sentiment. I think it should have been just a little bit higher. So I added this poinsettia on the Y to kind of give it a little bit of height there. And then I have these green stickles from the Simon Says Stamp Christmas card kit that they released this year that I put in all the centers of the little poinsettias. And there you have card number 7. I thought that turned out really pretty. I'll also embellish the inside. I'm going to use a stamp set that I have from MFT called Birthday Greetings, and some of the pattern paper. And that will finish out that card. I've got several card kits that I still have to do this month now that I'm thinking about that Simon Says Stamp card kit. But anyway, card number 8, I used the Tailored Expressions Oh Holy Night stamp set. That's that stained glass window. I really liked both of the stained glass windows in those, and I hadn't used the candle yet, so I went ahead and stamped that out and am coloring just it in with some Wink of Stella to give it a little bit of shine. I used my Zig Clean Color Real Brush Markers, I think is what they're called, to color that out. I also heat embossed it with some Simon Says Stamp Antique Gold embossing powder. And I'm just using some of the pattern paper that came in the kit. It had a really pretty gray script, like pattern paper that was kind of neutral, but I thought would look really nice with the colors on the panel, on the window rather. And so I'm just framing that out with some Love from Lizzie peel-offs, and am going to add that directly to my card panel. These were I really do like the stamp set. I know I keep saying that, but they're so easy to, it's like a big pattern, so it fills up most of the card. I'm just adding some gold rhinestones here and stamping out the Joy to the World on the front of the card and the inside panel. Both come from that stamp set. And so I'm just stamping those out and adding some pattern paper on the inside. And that will finish out card number 8. And there is a close-up of that card. I really like that. For card number 9, I used some of the poinsettia paper that we had, and of course my go-to Simon Says stamp frame die. And I cut out the frame in the gold cardstock, and kind of struggled with this kit, this particular card. I wanted to use the ornaments that we got since I hadn't used them yet, so I cut them out of the gold cardstock. But then I struggled with what to mat them on and what background I wanted to have. So you'll see I'm not sure if this is a Bethlehem scene on the pattern paper or if those are skyscrapers. I'm pretty sure the Bethlehem that Mary and Joseph went to didn't have skyscrapers, so I'm not quite sure what that is. But I ended up not using it anyway, so I wasted that piece of pattern paper, which is kind of too bad. It was a nice neutral piece, but I decided that I wanted to go with, I actually ended up going with the pattern paper that has all the poinsettias on it. And I mount my ornaments in some of the green cardstock that we got in the pattern, or in the kit rather. I think I would have liked this better if I had used maybe the mint green cardstock that we got in the kit. It would have kind of, I think, tied in better with the pattern paper than the forest green cardstock. But in any case, it is what it is, right? I mounted the one ornament that says, "Oh, what fun," on some fun foam, so it's got a little bit of dimension, and then I'm just making sure that I adhere down that frame. And I'll also stamp out a Merry Christmas from the Simon Says stamp, Tiny Words Christmas stamp set on some of that maroon cardstock in gold. Heat emboss that with antique gold from Simon Says stamp. And then cut it out using a banner die and mount that on fun foam. And there you have card number 9. So it turned out real pretty. I like it. I just kind of wish I had used a different pattern paper. Now, continuing with the ornaments, I wanted to use, I wanted to have some metallic ornaments. So I used one of the ephemera pieces. There was a round ephemera piece that says "Blessings from Our House to Yours," that I used one of the ornament toppers and just made it an ornament. And then I used some just white cardstock, and I had some silver cardstock left over from last month's card kit that I cut out one of the ornaments with. So I'm just using some of the Nouveau drops that I have in my stash to kind of decorate these two ornaments to give them just a mixed metallic feel. Just kind of adding some golds, and I've got like Silver Cloud. One of them is, I think, called Oyster Shell. And then the gold that I have, just kind of filling in pieces of the ornaments so that they're just kind of decorated. This is kind of therapeutic. I thought it's a lot of fun just to kind of decorate them, and because it's a pattern that's already established, I don't have to come up with it, so I just have to fill it in, which is, I think a lot of fun to do sometimes. It seems foolproof to me. Usually when I use Nouveau drops, I I don't do it a lot, like as like embellishment, because I end up either messing up the drop, or I feel like, gosh, there's too many of them, or maybe I need some more, and I don't know why. I just really, I think, am more comfortable being able to sprinkle the gemstones around and then glue them on before committing. With the Nuvo drops, you're pretty much committed. You start adding them to your card, and that's it. So I don't use them as much as I probably should. I should probably just start trying them out. But anyway, so I was going to add them to the star pattern paper, but I really like the pattern paper that we had with the poinsettias on it. It was a little bit of a darker red color, so I go ahead and I pull that back in, and I use up the rest of the gold cardstock that I have, and just trim that out with some Love from Lizzie peel-offs. I use the champagne gold color that I have. Kind of give it a little bit of a metallic color, and then I'm just kind of placing my ornaments around, kind of trying to determine where I want to put them. I'm using some silver thread that I have in my stash. My sister cross stitches, so she's always got all of this like metallic thread, which is really pretty. It's I've got it in all kinds of colors from all of her various projects. And she's always so kind. She actually will give it to me when she's done with her cross stitching. So it's a really pretty kind of silver thread that I've got on hand. And now, so I don't want to have my ornaments on the panel and then have to trim them off. So I get the bright idea that I'll go ahead and attach this cardstock directly to my card base. But I forget, of course, that I need to add the string on the top. So I kind of created a little bit of a challenge for myself that was unnecessary, but we got through it nevertheless. So you can see up top I kind of peeled back the top part of that paper so that I can shove the string from the ornaments behind there and just kind of tuck them in. It wasn't too bad. It was just a little challenging to get the strings taut so that it wasn't all loose on the front of the card, but I was able to do that. It's always something, isn't it? Yeah, you always think that like you had been doing this long enough, you would stop doing stuff like this, but for some reason, I always have a challenge. But it's okay. It worked out just fine. So there we have that card. And I also add another Simon Says Stamp, Tiny Words Christmas sentiment on the front. And I did that in the maroon cardstock that came in the kit, which it kind of blended in with the paper. So I mounted it on some of the gold cardstock that I had left over. And looking at it, I wish I had die cut it as well in the little flag, but it doesn't look terrible. It's just kind of, I think, an aesthetic thing for me. I just wish it wasn't a square, but it's all right. It will work. It'll be the card I send out next year anyway. By then, I'm sure I'll be over it, and the next time I see it, I'll be like, oh, this is pretty. Kind of like forget. So there you have card number 10. Now, I did go ahead. I didn't do it right now, but before I finished it, I did go ahead and put some of the gold gemstones around that card as well, just to kind of finish it out. And there you have card 10. I thought that card actually turned out really pretty. I really did like that, and I enjoyed doing that. So just to review, card number 7 is the card jar, or the jar, bouquet of poinsettias, which I thought turned out nice. Now, I hope that you guys all have a very Merry Christmas. Today is, in fact, Christmas, so Merry Christmas to you guys, and I hope that you're all spending it with your loved ones and your family. And I don't know. I've got a couple of more card kits that are Christmas themed. I don't know if you guys want to see them or if I should just kind of wait and do them next year. If I get to them, I might go ahead and post some more Christmas cards even after the season. So, anyway, I hope that you guys have a wonderful Christmas. I might post a few more videos before we hit 2020. But if I do not, you guys have a great Christmas and a Happy New Year, and stay safe. And I will chat with you guys later. And as you can see on that card, I added some of the gems, so they are a little bit more sparkly. But in any case, Merry Christmas to y'all, and thank you for stopping by and watching. And y'all be safe, and we'll see you in 2020.